What's up? Welcome in Hoge Jahns at Lambeau Field. Look at us doing this old school style where we're in the same stadium post game. Although we're technically next door to each other.
We're right next door to each other. We're pointing the wrong way because of the video, but it makes sense if you could visualize it with us.
Yeah, it makes sense for us. Apologies for not having the live edition on a Monday morning, but the Bears have exit interviews and stuff going on at House Hall that we need to cover at that time. So since we were both here, we thought we'd do one of our old school post-game quickie episodes like we used to do, about 15, 20 minutes, wrap this thing up, wrap this season up. We'll have plenty of time to do more of that too. And then once we hear from Thomas Brown, Caleb Williams, we're supposed to hear from Ryan Poles on Tuesday too. So we'll have a bunch to bring you later in the week, kind of more on the big picture stuff. But in the meantime, Johns, the Bears beat the Packers. That happened. We watched it. It has been way too long since that has happened. In fact, my sister sent a video of my 6-year-old nephew realizing in the moment as the Bears won that this is the first time in his life that the Bears beat the Packers.
It's the first time the Bears have beat the Packers at Lambeau Field since 2015, the homecoming game of Brett Favre. What was it? Thursday night football, Sunday night football? It was some night football. And
I think it was Thanksgiving.
Was the Thanksgiving night?
That was the Thanksgiving game, I believe. Yeah.
I just remember the players celebrating, dancing in the locker room afterwards. Alshon Jeffrey saying that we ruined the homecoming of Brett Favre and just how happy they were. So it's been a long time coming. Adam Hoge, almost called you Adam Jahns. Adam Hoge.
You're Adam
Lambeau Field. I'm Adam Jahns. It's been a long season, Adam Hoge.
It has. I was trying to get we had a great graphic on CHGO this morning. It has been 2,212 days since the Bears last beat the Packers. Last win in Green Bay, 3,328 days. And Johns, if you want to go all the way to the last time the Bears beat the Packers in a season finale, 14,994 days. That is more days than I have been alive. That was in 1983.
Oh, my birth year.
So maybe you saw
so that long. No, I did not. I was present. Potentially present. Yeah, I would have been, yes. Yeah. I was alive and doing well at that time. Wow.
Crazy. So we're just gonna kind of do an abbreviated kind of likes and dislikes from this game. And how can you not like Caleb Williams hooking up with DJ Moore to set up a game-winning field goal? How could you not like Cairo Santos and the field goal team getting a little bit of redemption for how that first Bears-Packers game went? And you could just hear, you were in the room, Cairo talking about that. Like that meant a lot to those guys on that field goal unit. Because they really did not feel like they felt like the Packers got away with one. Yeah, they heard a little bit of that come out today, with the rules, and they were sort of hinting at it, and didn't really want to go all in and blaming the rules that week. But it obviously felt to them like they had been done wrong, that they should have beaten Green Bay the first time. This time, there's no doubt about it. Celebration. Bears need to work on their Lambeau leaps a little bit, but hey, we can save that for next time.
Well, he should have been rejected. He jumped into a bunch of Packers fans. This guy really have to know better. There weren't many Bears fans here. I know Bears fans have made this trip many times in the past, but not many Bears fans up here on this very, very cold day here at Lambeau Field. What I like most about Caleb Williams hooking up with DJ Moore, that 18-yarder to set up the redemption field goal, the kick that redeemed the season for Cairo Santos in a sense here, is what they did before it. So there's a timeout called by the Packers, and in those moments, Caleb Williams sees what type of coverage they have, what type of coverage the Packers are in for DJ Moore. So in the huddle, they talk about what they're going to do if the Packers present the same. Essentially, he was in single coverage, man-to-man. So if they press him, DJ Moore is going to go vertical. If they're kind of outside leverage, there's going to be a glance route. So long story short, they adjusted, they made the play. And then you saw the urgency that I think has been missing for I mean, how many games have we talked about the sense of urgency at the end of these games? You see them sprint up to the line of scrimmage, spike the ball, and on comes Cairo Santos. Like everything you want to see done right in those moments happen. You got to like what Caleb Williams and DJ Moore did in that moment. And you got to like how Cairo Santos, getting a situation he literally prayed for, steps out into the field and kicks the game-winning field goal for 51 yards. You have to like it if you're a Bears fan.
Yeah, and just as we're recording here, I'm seeing a video of Caleb Williams giving Thomas Brown the game ball post game that it looks like the Bears put out. I hadn't seen that up until this point too. So, look, I was just in the middle of writing a column as we stepped aside to record this, and just this feels like one of those moments you don't want to get too carried away for what it means in the midst of an awful season. I get all that, but I felt, and I was glad I was here for this one because it's been a while since I was in the locker room after the game. John's just like feeling and experiencing the relief. This has been a very one-sided rivalry, kind of a one-way rivalry. You talk to people in Wisconsin, and their eyes are kind of more towards the Vikings right now as their biggest rival. And I think that's developing with the Lions a little bit more too. But for the Bears, kind of stuck in this rut against this team and the way that these results have gone so many times, that bitterness still exists. That anger still exists. DJ Moore just straight up ending his interview as Mark Grody and I hung around and talked to him a little bit longer, just saying, we beat the Packers, so F them.
It's still a rivalry. It's still the Packers game, and it's been a heavily one-sided rivalry for a long, long time.
And I thought it was a missed opportunity the first time they played this season. It does matter. It does matter. Like Caleb Williams being able to be like, I'm 1-0 against the Packers. Okay, that didn't work. Well, now he's gone to Lambeau Field and got his first victory here. You got to do it the next time and you got to add it up. But the only way you can start to turn this thing around against Green Bay is to win the first one, right? And just a juxtaposition. I'll give you this another like here. These two teams ended last season against each other, and it was not a good game for Justin Fields. And I get the sense they had made up their mind anyway. I don't think anything would have necessarily changed in that game, but it certainly sealed the deal. And so different situation, obviously, this time Caleb's not going anywhere, but to see it go the other way, to see Caleb make the plays, as he's really done all fourth quarter. His fourth down and fourth quarter numbers are one of the very, very bright things to take out of this season, without a doubt. And just to see that ball go through the uprights and have that finally rewarded for once, that's got to make you feel better going into the offseason than to have that, go off a goalpost again, or, whatever the numerous ways it could have gone wrong, and almost did after the DJ Moore fumble.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to go wrong for a while there, but you got to like the celebration. That's amongst my likes. And I don't get if you're going to roll your eyes at the way they celebrated the little Lambeau leap that Cairo Santos and other players tried to do, or even Jalen Johnson, making a gesture towards Packers fans and we kind of responding to them. I'm okay with that too. I get it. I really like the team sprinting on the field and kind of sprinting around the Packers as they go chase down Cairo Santos. That's all okay with me. This was a very long, frustrating losing streak for the Bears. 10 games, 10 weeks, even longer than that because you have a bye week in there. Jobs were lost. Careers have changed since then. This has weighed on a lot of people in that locker room, especially the players, because they haven't been in so many games. They probably should have beaten Washington, probably should have beaten the Packers in their first meeting. So to see that sense of relief, to see that jubilation, to see that joy, I like it. I like covering teams that have that as opposed to these frustrating losses. And I thought for a second there we were about to see a frustrating loss, especially when the Bears got backed up to 3rd and 11. But again, I really like the audible that Caleb Williams made with DJ Moore to hit him open over the middle for that 18-yard gain to set up Carlos Santos.
Yeah, you know, and on that topic, I was asked about this both pregame and postgame today. The idea of losing, though, would have helped the draft picks, right? And I get that. And it looks like as we're recording right now, the Bears could have moved up at least one spot, maybe two, and maybe even more than that. Just at the time we're recording, depending on some of these results, how they still go, had they lost this game. But, Johns, I just think that we're at this point, we've covered this team for long enough now, that the Bears need to stop being the team worried about draft capital at the end of the season and be the team that's actually talking about victories. So, you know, this one doesn't get you in the playoffs, but to me, it still matters that you beat Green Bay, you beat your rival, you hurt their playoff seeding a little bit, and now you try to just do whatever you can in the offseason to continue to get better and get this thing pointed in the right direction. And just at some point, the difference between the 6th and the 10th pick shouldn't matter because you're drafting in the 20s. And I realize that's not the case right now. That's not reality. But it just feels nice for one day that they're talking about a win over Green Bay instead of, well, at least they're picking higher in the draft.
Yeah, you know, I never liked that conversation. I don't think that conversation really exists in locker rooms. Like, players don't tank. Teams do, organizations do. And the Bears played too many starters for like the duration of this game to think otherwise. Like, Caleb Williams wanted to play, needed to play. Thomas Brown needed this win, wanted to win. And they were going to go for it. You saw Josh Blackwell scoring a trick punt return. Got to like that. Got to love even the willingness to try the same play twice with Keenan Allen. I'm all for it. I like that. Like, I'm begging for that stuff to happen as the season's falling apart. Take more risks. You have nothing to lose. Go for things like that. You know, like catch a defense, you know, make a defense confused. Catch them on their heels a bit. So I love the willingness to call those plays in a game like this. Obviously, it helped, you know, transform this into a win for the Bears, but I like just the eagerness, willingness, and the plan to call those on a day like today.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a long time since I've had anything to love. We usually do likes and dislikes, but you know how much I loved them pulling off the Johnny Knox, Devin Hester play. That was almost like a personal thing for me. Like, it is. It's like I don't know if you know this, but the Chiefs basically make the Super Bowl every year. So I kind of have.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have an annual conversation with Dave Tobe on media night. Like, it's my one time every year to talk to Dave Tobe, and we always talk about that play. And I put it on Twitter, a video from a couple of years ago of us talking about that. And he's like, he's still upset that they called holding on that play. And he said that he saw the official years later, and that official told him he shouldn't have called it because it had nothing to do with the outcome of the play.
First of all, that's awful. I don't like that from that official. Don't even admit that. That's not even fair. That's not even cool. Not cool,
I know.
Dude.
Yeah, but Dave Tobe said 2 years ago he still has it in the Chiefs playbook. I had forgotten that the Bears tried something similar with Bryce Callahan and Tariq Cohen back in 2017 that worked. Now, that was a little different because they had Bryce Callahan kneel on the sideline and kind of – that one's almost harder to pull off, to be honest with you, to just not have a player recognized. But, look, that play requires a lot of people to do their jobs right to sell it. And it also, first and foremost, requires the Packers to kick the ball the right way, in the right direction, to have it all work out that way. So that goes back to scouting, which the players in the locker room gave Hightower a lot of credit for. They felt really strongly that was going to be kicked to the right. DJ Moore executed it right. But if you're Josh Blackwell, that's not an easy catch to run straight back. He was playing corner at the start of the play. They put a vice, which means two people on the what would have been the Packers' left gunner, and to run straight backwards, catch that over your shoulder is not an easy catch. He catches that, he turns around, Johns, and talking to him after the game, he's like, I knew right then it was, and I said it right there in the press box. We were sitting next to each other. I'm like, oh my God, they got it. They got it. And that was when he was still at like the 10-yard line, because that's how wide open the field was, how well executed it was. And then the quick shout out to Dominic Robinson and Amen Agbangbamigaba, because there were 2 blocks that needed to be made. There were 2 Packers, one being the punter, that were not faked out by it. So they had basically 8 guys to block 2. Those 2 guys took out those guys, and it was an awesome touchdown.
Well, you better hope the Packers punter wasn't faked out, had it?
Yeah.
I mean, he should be screaming at the top of his lungs to tell his team where the direction of that punt is heading. It's like basic football there. But that's why what I like most about that is, yes, the degree of difficulty for that catch for Josh Blackwell. Like, it has to be successfully made, that catch. But the entire unit is part of the fake, part of the sell, part of like going to block for DJ Moore, basically selling where you're going to block, and the coverage of the Packers has to go with you. I just like that they called it. I got to be honest. I don't know if Thomas Brown was being honest in saying that HT Richard Hightower always has the green light to call such things. I don't know if that's exactly true. But I like that it was on the table for today. Why not? Green Bay Packers, end of the season, leave everything out there. You don't want to have any timeouts left in your books for this.
And you don't think, I mean, come on, there's a little bit of revenge in there. Coaches get, they have egos too, and they don't like when they're when they get it taken to them. And obviously earlier in the season with the Packers exposing the block, and then it happened again the following week with the Bears having block kicks and stuff like that. I have to imagine that, getting a little bit of payback there on special teams was on the mind of Richard Hightower and the special teams unit today, and good for them, because that ended up being huge. By the way, Cairo Santos' 51-yard field goal to win the game was the 8th 50-plus field goal of the season for him. That's a Bears single-season record. And Torrey Taylor set the team record for both net and gross punting in a season with his punting today, too. That also clinched that. Cairo Santos said, and Scott Daly, I talked to Scott Daly, the long snapper, after the game, too. He said that, Hightower's been kind of pushing those as like sort of milestones here late in the season to still be playing for. And from a special team standpoint, they were able to clinch all that.
Other likes and dislikes. It has to be just how the game kind of seemed to get away from the Bears a little bit. I like the resolve they showed after the DJ Moore fumble on the quick screen to the left there. How could you not like that? But it did seem for a bit like this was going to become a loss to a Green Bay Packers team that wasn't playing their starting quarterback for a long period of time in this game.
Yeah, I do have a couple dislikes because this was not a perfect game. I'm sure a lot of this was dictated by what the Packers were doing and how the Bears felt like they could, as ugly as it looked, move the ball at times without getting Caleb killed. How many sacks did he end up taking today? Just one. So, that's what I was going to say was, obviously you like that he only took 1 sack. The dislike was it was hard to watch at times, how horizontal the Bears were. Very few throws past the line of scrimmage. The screens to DJ Moore, when they were up 14-10, they had a third down sort of midfield at the end of the second quarter. Screen to Moore goes nowhere. The play where he fumbled at the end, they're throwing it out there. There's nobody blocking out there. I don't even understand the play. Something was wrong there. So just in general, despite the outcome, 80% of the offense today was not fun to watch. I'll put it that way. And then I mentioned to you in the middle of the game on this one, this is my first time seeing DeAndre Swift from the press box. It's kind of eye-opening to me how many yards there are that are left on the table at times with him.
Yeah,
there's and I've seen this criticism a few times. There are definitely advantages from, the TV copy doesn't show everything. Obviously, I watch a ton of tape, but even between the all-22 and what you actually observe live with your own vision from the press box, you can see things differently. And that was kind of glaring to me too. They got to do something about the running back spot this offseason, in my opinion.
I made the comment during the game that I think Caleb Williams breaks more tackles than DeAndre Swift. And I think that's actually true. Like, we could probably look up the stats.
Yeah.
But literally today, he's like spinning out of tackles and still running, where I think DeAndre Swift would have been, well tackled in those instances. So, to your point, I try not to have like great expectations coming in this game. So my list of dislikes is limited. I dislike that we're about to cover another coaching search, but it is what it is. That's the looming big news ahead. That's it. That's the story for the next few weeks. We'll see how long it goes. But yeah, a win against the Packers in Lambeau Field for the first time since 2015. If we're going to sum it up that way, like that is a big, significant to take into 2025. Like Caleb Williams has a point. First win of 2025, first win over the Packers, maybe big things to come. So they have every right to feel a bit optimistic, even though they finished this year 5-12.
Yeah, and like we've been saying for weeks, we should know better. But for this one episode, for this 20-minute episode, it's been a long time.
It's been a long season.
Yeah, it's good to talk about a win, good to talk about a Bears win over the Packers and all that. We got plenty of time to talk about the coaching search. Probably all month, and we'll be doing that. We'll be covering all that for you. There was one tiny little bit of coaching news we probably should just mention here at the end. But the Patriots already fired Gerard Mayo, and that would seem very, very significant when it comes to the Mike Vrabel derby.
Absolutely.
You got to think Robert Kraft's going after Vrabel. I'm not sure I would have fired Gerard Mayo without knowing I could get Mike Vrabel. Just saying, we'll see where that goes in the next 48 hours or so. But remember, Vrabel's free to sign anywhere. I think there were multiple reports today that he was going to interview with the Bears this week. I don't know how quickly he would entertain the Patriots or start canceling the interviews, or hopefully the Bears still get that opportunity. But that was the one significant thing that happened post game today that seemed very significant for the Bears.
They have to make that opportunity for themselves, even if they have to go fly out and meet him wherever he is. Doesn't he have where's his house?
Park City, Utah.
Yeah. Even if you got to go to Utah for a day, go. If Ryan Pace was allowed to take a jet all over America, I'm sure Ryan Poles will get the same luxury of flying from town to town to town. Go make it happen is what I'm saying.
Yeah. If Vrabel's willing to do it, right? Because what if he just like, yeah, I'm good with the Patriots. Let's go ahead and do it. That'll be interesting to see the play out.
Yeah, but that's part of this coming up. You're the Chicago Bears, but you have to make yourselves as appealing as possible to the top candidates. And right now, that's Mike Vrabel and Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson.
Yeah, which even on a small level, maybe today's win moves the needle a tiny bit. Just to see the way it finished. Caleb moved the ball. Bears get a win. I'm not saying there's too much stock in that, but maybe a little bit would appeal to, Ben Johnson watching the tape from today, or who knows? That's going to do it for us, unless you got any final thoughts, Johns?
No. Busy week ahead.
Yeah.
Busy few weeks. So stay tuned. I think we'll be back Wednesday and potentially Friday. So plenty of Hoge Jahns coming your way.
Yeah, we're going to at least let the next 2 days play out with Ryan Poles expected to talk to the media on Tuesday. So we will be back in a few days, wrap all that up, start diving into a coaching search. But for now, the Bears do get a big 24-22 victory over the Green Bay Packers. Hope you enjoyed this little mini episode, post-game episode from Lambeau Field. For me, it's good to be back out here. I enjoyed it. I had a good day on the road.
It's good to see you. Yeah, you weren't that annoying to sit next to again in the press box.
I thought I behaved today. I mean, I wasn't the one who on the reverse kickoff return was going, yes, no.
Again,
that was my favorite. That was my favorite moment of the game.
I'm pretty sure the Bears front office heard me too. I just again call those plays in games like this. You should have been calling them the past few weeks. Reverse on a kickoff return. I am here for that because what else do you have to lose? Except
that was so funny.
Who was it? Josh Blackwell got tackled almost immediately.
Well, and that led to the entire front row of the press box laughing, not because of the play, but because of John saying yes, and then him immediately getting tackled, and we were all sitting right in front of the Bears. So, hey,
Ah,
Got to
fun
have a little
time.
bit of humor in week 18. That
100%.
was a great moment. Among many, Bears get the win. Fun day here at Lambeau. We'll talk to you in a few weeks. Days. How about days? We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
See ya.